The Game Boy Advance. In the 3D craze of the previous generation, it was a breath of fresh air, proving that 2D games aren't dead. Now it's very different, but back then the GBA was the only option to play new 2D platformers, RPGs, and other stuff that wasn't found on home consoles. All the new original games, along with the ports and remakes, make its game library one of the strongest in the history of video games. On this list, I take a look at my 10 favorites. So, this is my own list, not a survey of the most popular games, so chances are you'll not agree 100%. If that happens, don't cry like a baby. So, here it comes. The rules are one game per franchise and the game has to be available in English. So, no Phoenix Rise 3, which didn't come out outside of Japan until the DS version. Number 10, Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga. Back in the mid-90s, a Mario RPG was a crazy thought, but over the years it proved to be great and it became by far the best Mario spin-off series. Unlike Sonic games that force the oh-so-epic but ultimately crappy stories in the main series, the Mario RPGs are generally lighthearted and self-aware. The characters know that they are in a Mario game, and they keep breaking the fourth wall. It doesn't mean that the world isn't deep, but it builds on the conventions of the Mario universe instead of trying to create something epic from scratch. Instead, the epicness comes from how all the nonsensical elements are combined into a coherent, believable, and atmospheric world. It's also no wonder that Bowser is only the bad guy in one game, and in all the others there's an original villain or villain group that's usually in contrast with the classic Mario universe. Oh, and of course the gameplay is great and unique too. Superstar Saga may be the weakest Mario RPG, but is still awesome enough to make the top 10. And now on to number 9, which is Sonic Advance. It may be the last of the real classic Sonic games that are platformers with speedy segments thrown in, before Advance 2 started a new direction of constant running and before the Rush games finally got it right. Advance 1 draws inspiration from Sonic 2 and 3 in terms of stage design, themes, bosses, and music. There are 4 characters that play differently, even though they are completely unbalanced. Tails and Knuckles practically easy mode, and Amy just sucks. The Chao Garden is very addictive, but the highlight is the main game. It has everything we liked about the Genesis or Mega Drive Sonic games. Even the bonus stages are a throwback to the ones in Sonic 2 and they are improved, meaning they are even shittier than before. But to the hell with the bonus stages, just enjoy the main game. Number 8, Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green. I was a huge fan of the classic Game Boy and Game Boy Color Pokemon games. But around when the third generation came out, I started to lose interest. Add some greatly inferior Pokemon design and take away the backwards compatibility, and the result was me stopping playing Pokemon. Then, years later, I was talked into trying Fire Red or Leaf Green, the remake of the first generation, and it was pretty damn good. It kept the good advancements of the Gen 3 games, but the atmosphere, the music, and the old creatures were back. Even though I didn't get back into the Pokemon fandom for another few years, until the masterpiece that is Heart Gold and Soul Silver came out. I enjoyed this one as a good and deep and light-hearted RPG. Number 7, Donkey Kong Country 2. A sequel was already joked about in the original DKC, and then it arrived, and it became even better. The stage design is a very strong point, each is distinct and unique in both looks and stage elements. There's some great variety here. You jump ropes, ride minecarts and rhinos, transform into parrots, and so on. The stages are fast-paced and the controls are smooth and responsive. DKC2 introduced Dixie Kong and her hovering ability that increased the fun factor and reduced the frustration. It's still very challenging but satisfying, and with practice you can get through everything, even the insane deadly water levels. Number 6, Super Mario World, another SNES port. Do I really have to talk about this one? Is there anyone who's not familiar with Super Mario World or know what platform was it originally for, right Chris Bors? Super Mario World was by far the best platformer when it came out and is still near the top. It contributed a lot to the Mario series and the whole genre, a piece of important history that still doesn't show its age. Number 5, Sword of Mana. Oh boy, I have so many memories of this. So much influence on me, so much inspiration. It's a classic tale of a hero and heroine, 2 tragic dark knights trying to find revenge and peace, a twisted evil, a legendary blade, a forested ancient castle in the sky, and the prophecy of death and rebirth, guiding all these people in their crossing paths in this magical dreamlike fantasy world. Yeah, it's awesome. You see all these characters getting pushed into this never-ending quest, how they get stronger physically and emotionally, meeting other allies, getting separated from them, and later reunited, sometimes only to find their loved ones dying. You get so attached to them, which makes every scene so powerful and memorable. All this with awesome, stylish visuals, the sometimes upbeat but mostly gloomy and melancholic music, and great fast-paced gameplay, you get one of the most fun and most atmospheric RPGs ever. It's classic, it's timeless, it's a masterpiece. Go check it out. Number 4. Castlevania Aria of Sorrow. Speaking of atmospheric, the Castlevania games have always stood very high. The distinct, upbeat music, the beautiful, almost otherworldly backgrounds, the endless hordes of undeads and bizarre hellish creatures, and the lone, strong-minded vampire hunter taking on all of them, all these made Castlevania memorable ever since the NES era. Combining that with Metroid-like exploration and RPG elements was one of the best ideas ever. It makes the immersion so much better when you explore this huge castle yourself instead of just going through a linear path. Aria of Sorrow is the fourth in this Metroidvania series and the best up to that point, fixing all the flaws of the prequels, leaving only the elements you love. Like the smooth, perfectly responsive controls, the awesome boss fights, collecting all kinds of upgrades, unlocking new areas, or just staring at the backgrounds or listening to the catchy songs. You can't go wrong with this. And number 3, The Legend of Zelda, The Minish Cap. In 2005, I was a huge World of Warcraft addict. I barely played or even did anything else in that year. And The Minish Cap was the only game to break that addiction, even if it was only for about 3 weeks maybe. Anything that is Zelda is guaranteed to be pure gold, and this one shines one of the brightest, is the last and, in my opinion, the best of the classic 2D Zeldas. Similar to Majora's Mask and the Wind Waker, it focuses on exploration and the side quests rather than the dungeons, and I think it was a good decision. The world of Minish Cap is livelier than ever, and literally, every NPC gives you something to do, and there are hundreds of them. This handheld Hyrule is huge and deep, and you can explore it as both a human and an ant-sized Minish. It's half the fun just seeing how these two layers are connected to and interact with each other, completely unaware of it. The dungeons are also great, and so are the items, abilities, graphics, music, and everything. Just as you'd expect from the Legend of Zelda series, the Minish Cap doesn't disappoint in any way. Number 2. Chicken Shoot 2. Just kidding, there's no way it's the second best GBA game. That is Final Fantasy VI. It's everything we love about 16-bit RPGs. The first half is a classic story of a power-hungry empire, a group of rebels, and ancient magical beings. You start the game with Terra, a young girl who possesses forbidden magical power she didn't understand and was captured and used for experiments. Trying to find answers, she finds herself between two opposing forces, meeting a whole bunch of characters who come and go, playing their part in the story. This is already good enough, but the game really picks up when the villain actually succeeds in his plan, becomes a god and nearly destroys the planet. A year later, two of the heroes meet and they decide to search this ruined world for their friends and challenge evil once more. From now on, everything is optional, but you'll find yourself doing everything because it's just so much fun. You visit all these once lively places torn apart and your previous characters fallen into some kind of depression or even worse. Each of them have their own deep backstory and their own personal challenges to overcome. Some of these are very touching, and when you finally get everyone back and raid the final area, controlling 3 different groups at the same time, it's really epic. The gameplay is also very addictive and has a great variety to go along with all these different quests. A must-have for any SNES or GBA owner. The handheld version has the better translation, some graphic and gameplay improvements and extra content, so that's the one I recommend. Number 1. Chicken Shoot 2. That's right, it's not number 2 because it's definitely the best GBA game ever made. It's just so awesome. There are 4 different stages of crazy chicken shooting action, and it even has puzzle elements that are almost as fun to figure out as the tornado in Simon's Quest. It's so much fun that it makes me forgive the horrible controls, the torturous music, the idiotic point system, and no, it doesn't. Anyway, Golden Sun and the Lost Age. I can't really pick one because they are basically 2 parts of the same game. You can even transfer your data from the first to the second. Golden Sun was one of my first RPGs and one of the most influential games in my life. When I first heard the theme song and then saw the graphics, I was amazed. It's easily the best looking GBA game, and the soundtrack is among my personal top 5 of all games on any console. The story is great. It's cliched but well presented. Without spoiling anything, 2 groups are traveling the world trying to save it, but their ways of doing that is the exact opposite, and some of them even have to fight their childhood friends and relatives, and it's pretty interesting. The dialogues are extremely well written, even though they can be too long at times, but the best part is the dungeons. They are puzzle-based, and by that I don't only mean one-screen puzzles in individual rooms, but many times they involve changing the whole place, like in the Zelda games. They challenge your mind, but they're never too confusing or annoying, and it feels rewarding. Golden Sun is hands down the best dungeon design in any RPG. You have several magic spells that you can use outside of combat, and you can be creative with them outside of the dungeons too, to explore, because there's something hidden everywhere. It's satisfying, and it's easy to keep track of your side quests, and thankfully, unlike most RPGs, there are no missables, so you can go back anywhere, anytime. The gene system is clever, and it allows tons of customization and strategy. It's hard to find any real flaws, and even that would be nitpicking. I just can't do justice talking about Golden Sun. It's true to its title, every element of it is gold, and it shines above all the other games in the Game Boy Advance's library. And that's it. Thanks for watching, and happy gaming to everyone!